Why don't you start it up?
I'd like to start it.
Oh, hold on, don't start it.
No, man, we're like sheep.
Okay.
Hold on, don't start yet. Not there yet.
Neither 5 nor 3.
The counting shall be to 3.
All right, now you can start. We're live.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Schaumburg Hoffman Estates. Really nervous about this. I haven't done it for 10, 11 years. Raise your hand if you were here if you were a member of this club when I was president.
That's what your wife told me.
Ba-doom-cha. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like to call on ex-Marine Alan Gabe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'll correct myself now. You're never an ex-Marine, so Marine.
You can hit the space bar. There you go.
Okay, now the four-way pact. So I'm looking for someone who's not making eye contact. Nancy Redmond, can you do the four-way pact?
I'd be happy to. The four-way pact and the way I interact with others. Personal accountability with courage and truth. First,
I'll have the courage to tell the whole truth. I will be kind in the way I tell it. I will be fair and not seek selfish advantage. I will have an open heart and an open mind. Jack, could you lead us in the invocation?
Bow our heads. Dear God, we give thanks for this day and for the guests that are with us. We ask a blessing of Rotarians here and around the world and the projects that they're involved in. Bless this food and this meeting to our use. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Take your seats.
Hello, Pat.
hi, is this seat available?
It is.
Yeah.
Mr. President, almost. Yes, sir. I'll give you
So I tell them we already
Hi, Jack.
So are you going down with the group or just?
Renee and me.
Go. Does he have to be a Go. You the bus
Mark is going down to a friend in Texas. College.
I don't.
Former pastor in retired. It's been a while since I got to see
So you were really
I don't love it. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. Yes.
My first job was after
boy. We are 1,600.
They're actually all doing okay. All three of them are in the job search world. Everybody's looking for a job right now. They're all done with their colleges. No plans, but.
I'll never forget. Some things the most pressure I ever felt in my life.
I knew her brother.
No,
It's just a straight thing.
A good day for soup.
we were actually at the same bar. Same package. Airport.
So you met on St. Peter's?
Yeah.
Oh, but
But
roughly.
So, which was really good. Yeah.
Were you wild and out of control?
I was wild, out of control, I was singing with the band. She doesn't remember me. No, I was she was there.
I've had my day right. When I went to my 20th anyway, I took my daughter. And they did. I would normally do karaoke, but I started like 5 rounds. So I was singing. Get back to my mom's house. So everybody went to bed. When I went to bed, bed was bed. So then I didn't make the bed from the solar power. And I think that the funniest thing. You know, from college, take your without getting we can think of those stories. So once summertime, when I used to work, we took and Saturday, so she was on all day, and I golfed in the morning, and then I golfed in the afternoon. You can all say spring. Of course, you're drinking beer, you know how many you drink. And then I went on weekend. Then I went home, golf there, just really tired. Happy to be home, man. Not really wanting to do anything. So, a friend having a bonfire. And Vic was Calvin Reed. And I go, no, don't got buddy up there. Next thing I know, the phone's ringing this time. Get over here, come on. So I can't say no, so I went. And then we were both hearing that, and I know that they're really responsible. And so they clearly were also, because they normally would not let me drive home. Driving home, I'm talking about, and I said, oh, she's right away. I am not. You are too. I am not. I'll see you soon. So she calls the neighbor's wife. So I get home. It's like, my neighbor's wife. So I know she's there to watch. You know what I'm saying? So she said, you're drunk. I said, I'm not. I went upstairs. But the same story. I was fed this vision. That's it. Like, that was Panopoulos. So it was like, it looked like a Jackson Pollock. Oh, wow. I was suffering the next day. It was hot. Super hot. For a while. It hurts. But when I was done, yeah, since then. I'm not even drinking now because I got cancer. I can't take because they attack the liver. So until I get done with that.
At this time, I'd like to introduce a custom I call introduction of guests. Okay. And we will start with, I see George is back there with all his friends. Yeah. No, Mr. Gangaloo or Miss Gromwald, who would like to take?
You want to do it? I'll do it then, since she hesitated.
Okay, Pat. No, I'm
Not
just,
Pat.
I'm just kidding.
Where's the fine master for that? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce a Rotarian from Barrington. And I'd like to introduce you to Gillette Johnson.
Welcome, Gillette. How do you happen to get that table?
He was here.
Gravity.
Okay, all right. Any other guests that I'm missing? No. We would now like to do club business and announcements.
Hello, friendly club. I'm up here not to take your money at this time, but to give some announcements from a couple of really exciting things that have occurred recently. As some of you know, we have an event in May called the Classic, which is our major fundraiser. And I'm happy to announce that I'm happy to announce, believe me, I now have a co-chairman. Someone who, if there's a problem, you go to that person. If you have a bitch or complaint, you go to that person. If you have a good idea, you come to me. If you have any good silent auction items, you come to me. Anything bad, you go to my co-chairman. A new member of the club, somebody most of you don't know, Bill Keller. And it gets even better. Well, how can you get better than Bill Kelly, right, Bill?
Right.
He already has a co-chairperson to assist him, unlike me, because they dropped this on me at the last minute and said, hey, Alan, you're going to be the chairman. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, we changed the date and the location, but don't worry about it. So the Bill's co-chairman and going to be the chairperson in 2025 is our own Gail Vandenberg. I have more good news. And then after that, it's going to be Mike Olick and then Bruce Stockman. We, in the past, have had honorary chairpersons to help us with the event, and that's kind of fallen from the wayside. But this year, I'm honored to announce Bill, myself, and George Panopoulos had the honor of going to lunch the other day with a very nice young lady who has honored us to be the honorary chairperson, Rebecca Dare, the president and CEO of Wings. So she will be our honorary chairperson. What? Nancy? Huh? Dar. D-A-A-R. D-A-A-R. So she's not a pirate, it's not Dar, but she has some great ideas and she's going to help us a lot. So I just wanted to share this good news with most of you. Thanks.
This is announcements. I've been in touch with the Hoffman High School staff. We're taking the last round of our applications for our toolkit project. We have our second annual awards on March 14th, Tuesday, in the automotive lab at Hoffman High School. If any of you would like to attend, please let me know. We can get you on that list to have that happen. So we've got 17 candidates right now. All sound really good. 2 from Hoffman, or I'm sorry, 2 from Conant, 2 from Schaumburg, and the rest from Hoffman High School. So we're off and running, and we've got some good reporting. I hope will be coming soon. So
Remember, March 14th.
Happy dollars. Ted, could you also collect?
Take a little bit longer. We're so overwhelmed today. I'm trying to fill this week. But first off, today is the anniversary of me starting my firm.
All right.
I celebrated it by being in court on the same case I was in on that day last year. Both of which were successful outcomes. Also, I'm gonna get happy hours for this club, including its members. Because without some guidance and help, Mr. Gabe gratuitously sits in front of me today. I might not have done it, kind of pushed me and helped me get there. I knew I wanted to do it. I had a lot of these with it, so thank you. And then also, Don was just up talking about the toolboxes, and he brought a guy in a few months back. David Montino talked about union mechanics. He gave a presentation. And today is the second day of class for my son, who applied to that program and got in my second oldest. He is not waiting for me, all because of the road. So I'm $10 happy.
Awesome. Ms. Holly.
I have 5 happy dollars because it's snowing.
Oh.
I love the snow. So everyone needs to just change their outlook about this beautiful wonderland that we're in. Just thinking it's so many months, it's going to be completely different. And we have the gift of living through that. So.
Does anybody second Holly's motion to like snow?
All right. Where are you going to, Charlie? I'm going to Africa.
Nice. Do you have any happy dollars on that?
Yeah, that's
Well, there's
next
snow in Kilimanjaro. There's snow. Okay, I'd like to give 10 happy dollars, 5 because I'll be president at the year 24-25 when Gail is running the classic. So thank you, Gail. And 5 because it's a big day on Tuesday. It's the day I always celebrate Bill Kelly's birthday.
Oh.
No other happy dollars.
Okay.
week.
I have 6 happy dollars because on Monday, I'm gonna have the opportunity to celebrate Roger's birthday with me.
All right.
Wow.
Happy days.
I like to talk to Pete Roger.
As Alan likes to say, we're twins. Obviously. All right, Queen of Hearts.
It's my thing.
All right.
I am not back.
Ready? And it's not working, just per usual. That's, oh, wait. Oh, look at that. And by proxy, I have to say that George willed this to happen. He was standing over here staring at the boards and he actually said, once Lauren's name gets drawn, I will have to have a number ready.
So nothing stuck out to me. So what do you guys think? Lauren, Trimble, what do you think?
34.
Okay, 34. Let's go. You got it?
You know, I think that's exactly what Hollywood had in mind when she said 34.
Absolutely.
Walter Payton's a famous football player in Chicago.
We're all in luck.
9 of clubs. Oh.
See, I saved everybody with my guess. Woo. Sorry.
So it's Gillette, right?
Correct.
Gillette. So welcome. And now we're going to invite Alan Gabe up here. I don't know if you're familiar with Alan, but you're about to be. He's what we call fun and frolic fine master. And just so you're aware, we don't typically find guests.
I can tell you. Typically, it's
You use the term fine.
fine. I love it. So many.
Well, hi there again.
Hello.
You know, I don't know why we have the microphone today. I have very few items on my list for fines. And we don't have a lot of people here, but I have a budget to meet. So if you are not sitting with George Panopoulos, who has to sit by himself, that'll be $2. Poor George, all by himself. I have 2 fines from last week and neither of those people are here. If you're late, that'll be $2. If you're wearing a sweatshirt, that'll be $2. If you're not wearing Rotary attire, that'll be $2. If your team played basketball last night and lost to Purdue, that'll be $2. If you aren't going to Africa within the next year, that'll be $2. If you are going to Africa, that'll be $3 because you're showing off. If you've never been a classic chairperson, that'll be $5. And if you like the snow, would you come to my house and shovel for me? That's all I have. And if you don't know, I don't know if I did, if you don't have a guest at your table, that's $2. If you do have a guest at your table, that's $3 for showing off and talking to the guests. And remember, the classic is coming. If you have wine you want to donate, things of that nature, let us know. And the other, in all seriousness, regarding the classic, everybody in this room goes out to dinner. And it's clear that some go out to dinner more often than others. Ask the restaurateur for a foursome, a dinner for 4 or some kind of coupon, okay? Gift card. And if you know anybody who's a member of the Barrington Club, that'll be $2. Thank you.
Alan, who would you like to collect?
George. What's that? Collect.
George, there's a seat up here, you know.
We actually didn't let him sit here. Yeah.
You don't have to face it, just put it in the. Huh?
You do a good job getting around here without knocking something.
No, Gary Anderson. No, Gary. West Pratt. Wait, Holly invited you.
Yeah, I should draw it on for, oh, it'll be the best. That was like,
I think that was my favorite part about it.
I mean, I have enough of that stuff, but it'll go quick. Just like when Andy Kaufman was in front of our colleagues, read Gatsby book. The whole time, all these college kids are waiting for him to just laugh at and ready for him. And he just kept reading The Great Gatsby until he finished the entire book. You know, about 2 people that. We always thought he was gonna do something funny. He got so irritated that they wanted him to love him or something.
He did something funny. Yeah, he was like.
Yeah.
Nobody in jail.
According to Dale, they got in their car, they stood through 2 stop signs and turned around and went right back in the house.
You know, when we left that chili, you know, because Bonnie was so much a part of that, part of it. Jim, we were having a ladder take banner, like Jim, like someone that's not able to do that. He feels around really well. Yeah.
Been on the street for some
Lauren, my face is still.
You may not see Gary until after.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I usually show up. But, yeah, so we've been, never changed the price.
I did cross-site with clients. June 1st through May 1st. Unless it's like an emergency or that's a big huge thing that, you know, if I don't do it now, otherwise I'll usually leave. What do we do for the May 1st started? Work in the background until that.
Yeah, let's just file you an extension. Right?
No, this is just the regular account. Not the, taxes, they will probably. Take care of it.
Am I correct?
So early, just brand new. And one bedroom of her. Grandparents, her grandparents. It was also, let's say April 1st. Get a call from grandparents Saturday morning. You're on the way. Just go into cleaning, no matter what it takes. We had a big one. And they came, we had a good visit, they left. So then I realized. Her daughter was together. Now I have this stuff too. That's the only time I've been to speak.
Oh, no, I get it. I get it. Well, I get my taxes done by one of these companies. He files the extension right away. Is that because you're always late getting them stuff?
No, just he does me last.
Refund.
That's how they keep you working there? Right. Like they always make you. Oh, this is kind of funny.
He does all of my kids as well.
He's a nice guy. My son Tommy, umpiring, he was investing in property. He bets and makes a lot of money betting. All these different things, you know. And he shocked when he has to pay $500 in taxes. I'm like, well, you've just been living tax free for the past year. No, I didn't know he had just claimed the winnings on gambling. I'm like, you do now that it's legal. He didn't have to before. Or even at a racetrack, if you put a certain amount, they'll pick up your money. That's Nancy. She goes to the difficult all the time. I know she's one of those. She's got to
This might be a question. And I have the government. Like if I'm gonna get money back. So I have to wait till the end of the year.
What they would say is set up your withdrawal every year. And then you bring in works. Perfect road is right on this. Faster than you should have. Now you're not. That way you got out wasting your money at interest free.
When I take over, don't worry. Power back. One of the things there, but you ever work for a place like Edward Jones? Once a year, oh, this is what you make commission salary, but also put this much in there for Social Security, this much in for your private insurance, everything. And this is your total. So I want to do that for taxes. So so you get one piece of paper or a brochure that says you make this much in federal, this much in state. Estimated sales tax. Anything you can think of, right? All at one time. These are all. So this is your adjustable percentages. This is why I did this. One question per five is to get your money.
And then who's answering the 800 number on the other end of that one?
You're retired. I never figured it out. It's like an income on your there's about 6 or 7 states.
Then the next thing is no tax. So when your tax is billed, you have to write a check. I don't know what.
She added up all the tax, everything, sales tax, all that. What bracket would that be?
Think about it. The reason I thought of that is what you're saying. Most people don't care about it. That's just your.
Well, so my son would say, well, my friends get refunds. I'm like, well, did the government say thank you for the tech industry loan that you gave them?
For many years, it's been an issue.
Yeah, right.
Now,
It's different. Once a meeting, I have to find out. Where it says, one of those words, it says the government, and then colon, and it says something, so government, you owe us some taxes. And you say, okay, tell me how much. Oh, no, you have to tell us. Oh, well, then I owe nothing. Oh, no, you owe, and we know. Well, then tell me. No, you have to tell us, and it just keeps going, and it's smaller and smaller. And that's kind of what it is. It's like,
even correct them wrong. Call them up, ask them a question, follow their directions, and then if you get audited wrong, that's what.
I think so, yeah.
Were they called during under?
Well, some people, I haven't filed taxes in 8 years. And now I finally get a letter from last year that they haven't gotten it. And what I did do is that even if you don't file your taxes, there's a computer program that files it for you. Like they tell you what, they get all of your W-2s, everything about you for you. The only time you really get the letter, and the reason why I waited 8 years, she actually owed almost $3,000. She would have gotten the refunds the previous years, but they don't tell her that. Started working with her at that date and everything. And so the CPA and our leads just just like, why didn't you file it? It's like, yo, like, dude. Safe place. Yes. It's already over. Now, can you go? How far back can you go? I think it's 3 years.
But then you get points to go to jail.
Yeah. It's a
Town like small local.
My wife had a girlfriend, boyfriend. Outwardly would say, I don't know, just from California. And he had a job, he worked for them. I couldn't even talk to that guy. I don't understand what no, it was my wife's girlfriend. And it was her previous boyfriend. Yeah, it was just a weird thing that you sometimes. This was many years ago too, when I was in my 20s. But still, to hear someone say, "Oh, no, I don't think that. I don't believe it." The government does the repair that. They figured out and they owe you.
I had a flea. I think we call it something. So I'm sure. He borrowed some money for fire. Say sure. We're gonna write down some contract. Because we had that. Of course, I was just divorced, had no money right after that. Car broke down. They asked me that.
Wait, let me change the PowerPoint.
Well, I just wanted to, I left my phone up here. I want to see what time it is. We could go early and.
I'll go early. Because it's a thrilling presentation. So
I saw that. Perfectly white background. Black letters. Very creative. I think I did the same thing.
Hello, friendly club. It's me again. Hello, Holly, everybody else. So I have another half, my third half of today. Gene Walters, as you can tell, is not here because no one had happy hours making fun of me. So Gene told me that I was to introduce our speaker today. So I feel really bad for the number of people who aren't here because this person is one of the most dynamic, outstanding, exciting, fervent person you'll ever meet.
I thought George was presenting.
So, so you got the script. So I found out some things about George that I venture none of you know. If you do, let me know, and then I can find you next week. George is, we all know, last name is Panopoulos, and believe it or not, he's Greek. George, believe it or not, does not own or have any interest in a restaurant. But George and his immediate family are the only members of his family who live in the United States. The rest of his family still is in Greece. And when that is true, everything I'm saying, it's the truth.
He called my wife earlier. I found it. I didn't know he got this information, but whatever.
George did not speak English until he went to school when he was 5 years of age. They only spoke Greek in his home. But George caught on real quickly because his father used to take him to the horse racetrack. And when George was 9 years old, he used to place bets for his father. So obviously he had no English. So George, as we all know, has a very dry sense of humor and is known to be funny in 3 languages. Evidently, he was in Mexico and he speaks Greek and he speaks English, and everybody in Mexico thought he was hysterical, even though they may not have understood him at the time. So without further ado, I want to introduce a good friend of mine in the club, the one, the only, memorable George Panopoulos.
I'll have to thank Trish later for all that info. So this is going to be thrilling, just so you guys know. And there's only 60 slides, so don't worry about it. So that's where it all started. Those are my parents. They were married 3 times. They were married in Greece. Then they came to America. Paperwork got screwed up. They had to get married again, so it was recognized here. Then my dad joined the army. They transferred him to Stuttgart, Germany, which is funny because they started from almost that same spot. And there was more screw up in paperwork, so they had to get married again in Germany. For the army.
Did your mom typically wear all 3 rings?
Yeah. So that's me, a few months old. I'm cross-eyed, and that's Greek Easter. And for whatever reason, my mom chose to take the killer red dye #1 and rub it all over my lips. And but I'm still here today, and my eyes became uncrossed. So it's okay.
Isn't that red dye? That's a Greek thing, right?
That's like Jesus' blood. So all the eggs for Easter are all that color. They don't do any other colors, no blues and yellows. That's for Americans that I didn't get to partake. So I don't know what the hell I'm wearing there. My mom put me in this onesie with a tank top shorts thing. I'm about 3 years old there. But that's the brownstone building that I lived in until I was 4. And that was in Roseland, which is a part of Chicago nobody wants to go to. Because Roseland is right next to Inglewood, and that's where all those shootings happen every weekend. So that was a brownstone. We got robbed. We were on the 2nd floor of a 2-story building. We got robbed, I think 3 times, and then my parents finally said, let's get the hell out of here. So we finally. But one of my favorite things to do with my brother, Pete, I loved walking him to the bus stop because I wanted to go to school so bad with him, but I was too young, so he would let me carry something of his, and I'd walk him over to the bus. That is my cutest age ever. That's my first grade picture. It was all downhill after this. I mean, that was the best. That was right there. I was pretty happy with that. And to prove my point, I'm gonna skip 2nd grade, and then here's 3rd grade. So you can see the hair and then the jacket and the fat. It all combined to make it just not too appealing. So it's been all downhill after that. And then this is middle school. I played the saxophone. I don't know if you could tell, but those pants started off wide at the waist and they just kept getting wider. So they were horrific. I just, and then the yellow jacket, I don't know. Rematch, you know what they wear? I don't know who wears that, but that was pretty bad. So in 1979, we went to Greece. My mom and brother and I, that's my brother standing there in a Sox shirt. I'm sitting next to him, and my aunt Evan Thea is next to me, and my cousin Peter's sitting all the way down there to the right. And that's the Parthenon, obviously. South of Panopoulos, another picture. Me, my cousin Pete, and my mom and my cousin Riri. And then that's just the whole Acropolis from down on the street below back in 1979. That was pretty cool. This is my senior year picture, and the only reason I even put this in here is because I wanted to show you how cheap my parents were. That's the same suit my brother wore 4 years earlier when he took his senior year picture. I got the same suit. So I think I had a different tie, and I don't even know about the shirt, but the suit, that was his. And then, fast forward a few years, I graduated from Loyola University in Chicago. I was at the Water Tower campus, and I commuted. So I actually went to a junior college for 2 years, Moraine Valley, and got my degree from Loyola. I commuted via car and L, and the L rides to Chicago were, I could probably talk for an hour on that. That was really fun. Not. Okay, here we go. So I had a couple of jobs after college, not worth mentioning, but my first job working for a broker dealer, the place was called Rodman and Renshaw. It was a little, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, it was a real small firm. And at some point they were bought out by a Mexican bank, and now today I don't even know if they exist. But the best way to describe working there, I worked as a junior broker for a guy. And I don't know if you guys saw Wolf of Wall Street, but that guy, and that's obviously DiCaprio, not the real guy, but the real guy made all his money selling over-the-counter stocks, like penny stocks, and sometimes over the pink sheets. And pink sheets were literally, you didn't know what the price of the stock was until the next day when the pink sheet came, and you got to see what the stock was trading at. So they were trading a lot of that kind of stuff, making huge commissions, and that's kind of the experience I had working for that place. It was pretty awful. So I was there about a year. Then I went to Merrill Lynch, where I was about 4.5 years. And
In Chicago or?
that's Chicago. That office, I don't know if that's a picture from that office. I was at, I think it's like 110 West. It was like Wabash and next to, I can't remember, it was next to the John Levine building. It was next to, it was like Wacker and Wabash. I think it was the corner. So the significant thing that happened in 94 was I took my wife out on June 1st, 94. It was her birthday. Took her to the 95th Club in the John Hancock. A co-worker of mine at Merrill Lynch said, and so she knew I was going to propose. So my co-worker said, hey, I'll have a buggy waiting with champagne on ice, couple of glasses. So when you guys come out from dinner, I'll meet you out there. So she kind of was hiding off to the side. I saw her, pointed to the carriage I was supposed to get into. So we go on this ride of Chicago. And my wife had I'm like a watch guy. I love watches. I've been wearing a watch since I was a kid. My wife hates watches. So I put her engagement ring in a Seiko watch box that I had, wrapped it in paper, and I gave it to her as her gift. So she unwraps it. She sees Seiko on the box. She's like, she puts it on the seat next to her. She said, yeah, I'll open it later, whatever. So the buggy ride's going. I'm like, I don't have much time here. I got to get this thing going. So I'm like, hey, honey, why don't you open up the watch? She's like, oh, I'll do it later. So, we're going a couple more blocks. And finally, I'm like losing it because I have to propose. I said, honey, just please, would you open it? So she opens it and then she sees a ring. So she was kind of, it threw her off, like, what? So then she realized I got down on one knee in the carriage, which not sure how I did that with that huge overcoat. And proposed, and she said yes. So that was nice. So we get married, and that says wedding number one. That's not a typo. At the Assumption Catholic Church in Chicago in October '94. That was very nice. It's on Illinois Street. I'll tell you why we got married in Chicago, because otherwise we would have done it in the burbs. That's a nice pic inside. Then we decided to go to the planetarium to take some pictures, and as you can tell, it was really windy, and I was trying to lick my wife's veil that was blowing around my head as she was taking pictures. So then we came back in, and now it's time to party. So we were on the 66th floor of the Sears Tower in the Metropolitan Club for our party, for our reception. I got in there because my boss at the time was a member of the Metropolitan Club. He said, it won't cost you a thing other than paying for whatever food and drink you have. But he says, if you give me a few dates, I'll see if it's open. So as long as the date was open, I could have it. So I gave him a few Saturdays. And whatever, October 29th was available. So because we had that opportunity, we got married in Chicago as well. Otherwise, we would have done everything out in the burbs. So now you can't see outside that window, but trust me, at night, looking up the 66th floor, it's a pretty nice view. This is my dad doing a Greek dance on the left there, and his friend on the right is kind of helping him, egging him on to keep going. But he was in front of everybody, didn't care. I don't know how much he had to drink, but he looked pretty cool dancing. So this is wedding number two. So this is what we did. The Greek church would not recognize me being married in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church did recognize Trish if she would have got married in the Greek Church. So that was okay that way, but it wasn't okay the other way. So we decided to get married twice, 2 consecutive days. So this is the very next day at the St. Constantine and Helen Church in Palos Hills, nearby where we live. This was not a big deal. It was just very immediate family. We didn't have a reception or anything. It was just something just to officially put it on all the books to make all the religious gods happy. So then about a week later, we're on our honeymoon in Ixtapa. And the only reason this is interesting is we pay for an all-inclusive trip, food, drink, everything. Trish got some kind of weird bug the day before we leave. She couldn't eat or drink anything when we were there. The only thing that made her feel good at all was being in the cold pool or in the ocean. Unfortunately, it's November in Mexico. It's still kind of the end of hurricane season. Water was pretty rough. So my wife's like, hey, why don't we body surf? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I grew up in Illinois. There was no body surfing. But she grew up in Jersey and right off the shore of New York. So she knows. So she said, when a wave comes in, just jump up into it and let it take you all the way to shore. So she's doing it like perfectly. First time I jump up, it flips me over and smashes my face into the bottom of the ocean. So I don't know if you could tell. I have a major black eye thing going above and below my eyebrow. It was all over. So everybody thought I got in a fight with the Mexicans in Ixtapa.
I have a question. What's that on the front of your shirt?
It's a logo. Yeah, you might say Muscle Beach on there.
Why? Why were you wearing a Muscle Beach?
Yeah.
I'm proud of that picture today. All right, so this is so we went on a trip to California to go to a wedding for my wife's friend. Her friend ended up not getting married, and we did not know that until after we were in California. But one of the coolest drives I've ever done, we flew into LA and drove along PCH1 up to Monterey. We would have gone all the way to San Francisco, but we had to turn around and go back for the wedding. That didn't actually occur. Had we known it wasn't going to happen, we would have kept going. But that drive, if you haven't done it, do it. It's unbelievable. This is just like one of the, probably the least interesting of all the places we pulled over to take pictures. But there's a pull-off like every 10 minutes. And the view is just amazing. So in '98, I also went independent. I left Merrill Lynch and worked with a company called LPL Financial, and I was there from '98 to 2017. So I was there quite a long time, but I was independent at that point from the big broker dealers that Merrill Lynch that I did not like being with. So also in 98, went back to Greece. This time, my wife and I took my parents. My dad had not been back for over 40 years. So I thought this would be interesting just to show the Acropolis again so many years later. This is actually the other side of it. But yeah, my dad hadn't been back for over 40 years. So that was good that we went, because later, within less than a year, his oldest brother passed away, and then the sisters passed away the next year. So he got to see everybody before they started passing away. So that was good. His family up in the mountains, this is near Mount Olympus. That's an olive farm there. They had about 600 trees that they would farm, and it was not for eating, it was to make oil with. And they used to farm it themselves, and then as the years went on, they all had different jobs, so then they hired people out to farm it. But I heard that within the last 2 or 3 years, a fire went through and just wiped out the whole thing. Everything burned down there. So I don't know if they can ever come back. So that's my dad's childhood home. There were only 2 walls standing, and those stairs. I'm not even sure why we were standing on it. That would have like it did crumble while we were there. But there was no indoor plumbing. There was an outhouse somewhere outside. So when my dad, who is 91 now, when he says I was a hilly billy, and he says it that way, I believe, because he did grow up in the mountains, and he grew up in that little house. So while we were in Greece, we went on a side trip to Santorini Island, and that's me sitting there looking at the sunset. Trish took the picture. But of all things, we were at a Mexican restaurant on Santorini in Greece, and it's because they had this awesome view, and the sunset was just seeing the sunset over the horizon of just water was really amazing. And that, if you don't know Santorini, if you can see around, it's the lip of a volcano that kind of collapsed in to itself. So there's part of the lip is still there. That's the rock formation on the right there. So it's kind of eerie when you're sitting there, because you're not that far above the water, and you're just looking at this inside of a volcano mouth, and it's a little freaky, but it's beautiful. My wife's hot. I just threw that in there. That's from that's got to be 20 years ago or so. She was downtown with her girlfriend, and her girlfriend, the one from California, wanted to take some glamour shots of herself. So while they were in the city, her friend just took some pictures of Trish as they were sitting in some cafe somewhere. This was back when everybody wore denim up and down and all around. So we were in I think Woodstock, New York here, and I'm not proud, but I had a blue jean shirt on, blue jean pants, and my wife had blue jean. There was a lot of that. That's me with my lowrider that I had in the late 90s, and that's Trish with her Sportster. So yeah, we rode Harleys for a little while, and then this happened. That's our daughter. She's 3 there. I didn't have the baby picture, but we had kids, so we decided, well, riding motorcycles seems kind of silly at this point. And that's my son dressed as Elvis at about 1 year and 2 months old. I love that picture. I don't know why he just looks so funny. And then that's their little older. At one point, I had gone to the auto show every year in a row for over 20 years. I thought I would never not go to the auto show. And I always came back with brochures. And so when we all went as a family, of course, the kids had to have a bag and collect brochures just like their dad. So this is Lake Geneva. We have a cottage in Lake Geneva, so we hang out there a lot. And it's just, I think, near the Riviera somewhere. Oh, we were out east once, and we had one extra day. And as we were coming home, we decided to go to DC. So that's the White House. That's probably 2013, I'm guessing. And even then, there's a sign there that says, live by the bomb, die by the bomb. So there was some kind of protest going on there. But it was raining the whole time. So I don't know if you could tell, my hair was soaking wet. It was a miserable trip, but we were only there a day. So I'm so Greek, I decided I got to see the Parthenon in Nashville. So for those who don't know, Nashville has a full-size replica of the Parthenon, and that's it. It's kind of a neat building to see if you're ever in Nashville. And we went there because we had tickets to see Little Big Town at the Grand Ole Opry, so we did that.
Are those your kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too busy.
Yeah.
And then that's us at the Margarita. That's my son being Bond, a little older there. This was our daughter. She went to Illinois State, so we all bought Illinois State sweatshirts and went to, during family weekend, went to went to the football game. And as you can tell, no one cares about the football team there because there was no one in the stands. We went to Mackinac Island one time. It rained a lot there too. We had to buy the kids rain jackets because it was literally pouring the entire time. I don't know what our timing was. But then Mackinac City, we were so good both that trip, and that at least was dry that day. We used to always go to Chicago as a family during Christmas, go see the lights, shop, did the whole Michigan Avenue thing. So we used to do that almost every year. And we have several pictures where I think we're almost standing in almost the same place. Not on purpose, but just worked out that way. So this was, I think, the last year Arlington Racetrack was open. We had this picture. I think the Rotarians were there that day. But we also, Trish and I had our first official date at Arlington Racetrack in '92. This is what happens when you buy your whole family sunglasses with the same color green lens. You take a
Matrix.
You take a picture. Yeah. You take a picture. That's my daughter's senior year of high school. After high school, she wanted to go on a warm beach trip before she started college, and we didn't have a lot of time to plan it, and so we went to Pensacola, Florida. Found this. It was a beautiful white sand beach. Actually, it was a really nice vacation. And then that's my son from his senior year. A couple of years later. That's my wife's favorite, or that's my favorite painting of what my wife does. She does a lot of blues paintings and different things with blues. And so in there, there's Aretha Franklin's in there. Janis, thank you. Janis Joplin laying on the bar. And I don't know, Bessie Smith, Amy Smith, Nina Simone, and I keep forgetting her. Anyone knows her? That's Amy Smith, Bessie Smith, that's Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone. I keep forgetting her. And she's famous. You would know the name, but I just Jane. It might be. She has done Etta James. So anyway, that's my favorite painting that she's done with blues. This was one of the classics we were getting ready for. And I think this is hysterical because my wife's Mrs. Find a Bargain. She went on eBay and found that dress for $6 to go to the classics. I'm like, all right. Now we have a little more money to spend at the classics. So in 2017, that's when I created my own registered investment advisory firm. So from 2017 to today, that's what I've been doing. In 2020, almost exactly 3 years ago, Trish presented this painting to Buddy Guy at his, it's called Legends. It's his his club in Chicago. And really quick, the story here is, so my dad always said one of his biggest regrets was that I showed you where he lived. He was way up in the mountains, but he'd go down to Athens for work as a teenager. And his mom would say, my grandmother, she would say, hey, if you ever remember, just can you grab me a cup of coffee? I really miss having coffee. So he had it on his mind, but somehow he never got around to doing it. And he told my wife that was one of his biggest regrets. He just never did that. And then, of course, he passed away. So then when Trish heard about this story about Buddy Guy, he lived in Louisiana. He told his mom, yeah, I got a job up in Chicago. Everything's great. I'm going to be making a lot of money because I'm going to move up there. I'm going to buy a Cadillac. I'm going to put polka dots on it, and I'm going to drive down here, and I'm going to come and pick you up. Well, he kind of lied because he didn't have a job yet, and so he wasn't making money yet. And his mom eventually got ill and passed away, so he never was able to do the Cadillac and go down there and get her. So when Trish heard that story and thinking about my dad's story, she made that painting, which I don't know if it's a painting of Legends downtown, his club, in a 57 maybe Cadillac with polka dots. And she presented that to him on stage, and he almost cried. I mean, it was pretty cool because he was very touched by it. So that was nice. And that's my daughter graduating from Illinois State in 21, degree in marketing analytics. And then our son about a year ago said, hey, he goes to Iowa State, he's aerospace engineering. He said, my school offers an MBA, I can get my MBA in 1 year, but I got to start at my senior year of college. But he said, I have to test into it. I can't, it's not automatic. You got to test into it. They only take 25, 30 kids. So we're like, okay. So he tests into it, and of course he gets in. So I'm happy for him. I'm a little less happy for me, and our wallet's gonna be drained for one more year. I thought this was gonna be it. I thought in May of this year, right in time for the classic, I thought he's graduating, yes. But now I have one more year of him going to get his MBA. And this is my $1 billion t-shirt idea. I'm not yelling, I'm great. So that's all I got. Any questions? Nice job. Good.
No doubt you've had a beautiful life, George, but you've ruined it for anyone else who's got to get to talk about it.
Tom will help you put a PowerPoint together anytime you need.
Why'd your parents come over from Greece?
What?
From Greece?
My dad, when he worked down in Athens, he would pass, they call them periteros, they're little newsstands. But these newsstands were almost like mini Walgreens. They had everything in this little tiny box. So they had magazines, they had film, they had, you know, aspirin, they just all kinds of drinks, whatever. So he would see pictures of flat green land in America, like farms, farmland. And he loved that. When he saw those pictures, because Greece, I don't know what, if you haven't been there, Greece is very rocky and mountainous. It's beautiful in its own right, but it's not green and luscious, you know. There's really no big flat areas, you know. If you like flat, I mean, we live in beautiful areas like flat lands. So my dad saw those photos of America and he's like, I want to live there.
So that's why Chicago, because the flat land was.
Yeah, he actually went to where in Pennsylvania? Hold on. Where was the office? To show the office. What town?
Erie.
Scranton.
Scranton. So he was Wilkes-Barre and Scranton. He kind of that area. He first came from this country. He was working there. I don't know what he was doing. And this is how he moved to Chicago. For I think 50 cents more an hour, he could get a job in Chicago working in the restaurant industry, and then that's all I have to say about that.
So did he speak English, or did he learn when he came over?
Kind of learned when he came over. They had, I don't know if they might still have it in the house. It was a little dictionary about this, it was a Greek American dictionary, and they would go through that thing and figure it out. So
it was your father who didn't speak English until you were 5th grade.
no, so because my parents only spoke to me in Greek, I think it took, so in kindergarten, I was in the Greek American church school thing for kindergarten. So 1st grade, I entered into public school 1st grade, and I don't think I was still yet 100% speaking English. I understood it, but I wasn't speaking it 100%. So I kind of.
And that's when
But
you
I was
look
born
good,
here.
though. You look good in 1st grade.
You speak Greek fluently still?
I wouldn't say fluently. I could understand, if people are speaking it, I can understand it far better than I can. The words just don't come to me that quickly, but I can understand it.
Did your dad meet your mom here?
No, there in Greece.
Oh,
Yeah, they got married there first,
oh, right.
then in
Yeah.
America, then in Germany, because
I was paying attention.
paperwork.
And you were born here, though.
Yeah, me and my brother were born.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll have an excellent.
At the
At the
classic.
classic, yeah.
That was a great talk, George.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and end the meeting, and then you're welcome to stay, because I know we're early. Or not. So if we could all rise.
I don't have it. It's I don't know. If you don't know it by now, you're in trouble.
Yeah, who's the newest person? No, you know what, George, since it's your day, why don't you lead us in the forward? Just say first.
First.
The truth is fair to all concerned. Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Good stuff.
Nice job. You know, my best friend was Greek. You met her. She just fell, and just this week had to have a plate and 2 screws put in her wrist. And so I've been over there helping her out and stuff, and her brother's, she's 5 brothers and a sister. And I mean, oh yeah, she would love that t-shirt, just saying. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so fun. We all sit down or something. And one of the ones that- And he caught a point and when you
They're really intense. And her daughter's like, one's a conservative, one's an artist, you know what, like they're all over the place. And I was over there that I took her to surgery and stuff that night. So one brother used to be in the restaurant business, of course, he makes free chicken and all this kind of stuff. And the other brother calls like, well, you know, there's gonna be a family reunion. And Elaine's like, she's just coming out of her anesthesia. She's like, oh, fuck off. Come on.
You see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just the answer.
Fabulous. Thanks for sharing. Tell Trish I said hi. Is she gonna do a picture for the class? I love that one I have. I would definitely be bidding since I'm trying to share. And she's also very discriminating about like what I call the balls. And I really want something that's sort of the black and white beige. You know, like that one, the rock and roll one, that's sort of the black, white, beige. You know, it's not like the color. That's right. So soon after that, I don't know how. Well, she's marrying for breakfast. So, and then we'll talk about transfer. Thanks. It's a bummer. It's sad. Yes. Things have changed very fast. Thank you. Into the snow.
Field trips. Field trips. You had to say it 3 times in order for the guy to come up. Say that you well,
Squiggly words.
It's the Long Road Deer Park. Sorry, and having these conversations. Let's see if we can. Yeah. If not, I just feel better. Bigger club. They said.
I'm so shy.
Well, it's still, I just told them. Last weekend. I had two conversations. Just kind of saying, look, I'm gonna look around. Let's meet up and stuff. We're going to this, but I'm just gonna start. Here. And you are good. 6:30. I don't even answer my blue way to class. It's 6:30. Monday, right? So, no, I don't know one that's a wrestler. I can go. All of a sudden, you look at that.
This is only a very small.
When you see fun, reverence, take this out of each other when you can. That's the way we always were. We had to take them. It helps out. They can play here, there's, moved into the time that we're in. Stick it together. Especially if we did it in dark. Didn't have a. Even if we did. Dirty joke morning. So anybody can come. Why do you come?
Yeah, right.
But that's right. Right. And so I love that part of it. Part of it where I love the stuff. Really, I live in California, about here, but I moved back here on purpose. No reason. I could live anywhere. Well, it's okay. It's a very. You do have one deck.
It's gorgeous. Look at that. It's spectacular.
It was going sideways just a minute ago. See, that's good too. I don't like it. Lucky if I come back, garage is heated. Somebody's loud like.
Ice skating.
Really nice to get to know a lot about. I was very lucky.
You're lucky, yeah, you're lucky.
Today I was lucky. You know these people.
You know me though, yeah.
It's only 40 went out for dinner. How is it?
And we're still getting to know George.
I remember. Everybody.
What's 60 slides?
No, it didn't feel like.
Was it easy at one point?
Snow and fair.
I liked it.
All right, throw it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right now. Red plate over there. And then these guys are getting well, I snowball, because I will mess for that 20 minutes. I'm sure I'm gonna be
Hey, co-chairman.